All set? Okay, we'll rejoin and begin our study session. So, Mr. City Clerk, do we have any public comments?
I have no request to speak.
Okay, so the first item is Digital Messaging Board and Business Promotion. Presentation by Omar Databoy, Deputy City Manager, Community Development Director, and Rob Frizzell, Community Services Director. Welcome, Rob.
Vice Mayor Canine and council members, thank you so much. Tonight we will be presenting a study session, as you said, to assess and present revenue-generating opportunities to promote business through a digital messaging board at the sports park. And briefly, at your desk was a cooler that you will be part of the presentation later this evening for celebrating July as Parks Make Life Better Month. So
That is cool.
you can bring those out to the concerts and all the great things that go on out there at the park, which could be showcased on a digital message board in front of the entranceway. So as we said at the March 27th City of Fountain Valley Strategic Plan session, the following item was presented or assigned to the Community Development Director and myself, the Community Services Director, for the 3-year goal of enhance the culture and environment of a nice place to live. And in review, to find out if we are allowed to, in consulting with our attorney for the city council does have the ability, per our Fountain Valley Muni Code 21.25.50, government signs. You can see down there on the second line that if traffic control and traffic directional signs erected by the city or other governmental agency, official notices required by or authorized by law, signs placed in furtherance of governmental functions, signs on which the city expresses its messages to the public, and that provides us the access to present advertisements for revenue at the Fountain Valley Sports Park on public property. So if we would like to do that, there's really 2 ways we can, and presented in the memo to you and on the screen here tonight are the options. The first would be staff oversight, a staff-run program, and the nice part with that is we actually have something pretty much in place for it, our community partnership program, which is our naming rights program for the Fountain Valley Sports Park and other city facilities. And that's pretty much an overview of what that program is. In all cases, the Recreation and Community Services Department will ensure that community partnership program participants will not be in conflict or run counter to the City of Fountain Valley's mission statement or strategic plan that is adopted biannually by the Fountain Valley City Council. Additionally, the community partnership program will not be in conflict or run counter to the City of Fountain Valley's Recreation and Community Services Department mission statement. And pretty much what the guidelines for that community partnership program is that they support the City of Fountain Valley and the Recreation and Community Services Department, promotion of community volunteerism, promotion of healthy lifestyles or civic responsibilities, support of recreational programs and services that increase physical, intellectual, social, or emotional abilities, promotional of environmental awareness and responsibility, preservation or enhancement of significant natural resources, education about public resources and conservation or sustainability, support of healthy families, sustainable environments or safe communities, support of universally accessible places for recreation, promotion of government agency partnerships and community involvement, and strengthening the connection between people and the outdoors. So that's our guidelines when we were looking to select if somebody would like to be part of the community partnership program for the naming rights. There are some things that we don't allow, and this was obviously previously approved by council pre-COVID. Naming right proposals that shall not be considered are those which promote practices that, if they took place, would violate U.S. law, state law, promote drugs, alcohol, tobacco, gambling, or adult entertainment, discriminate on the basis of gender, ethnicity, religion, economic status, national origin, disability, medical condition, sexual orientation, or age, include religious references or political statements, or endorse products or services that do not comply with the City of Fountain Valley policies. So if we were to develop a ad revenue program for a digital messaging board, we do have the framework of a program in place, so I believe staff could turn it on pretty quickly. The other option is a third-party provider, and so we just contract that out, but obviously there would be a cost associated with that. But we feel that we have a strong connection with our business community already in town, our community nonprofits, our youth leagues. We currently bring in, well over $150,000 to $200,000 a year in annual sponsorships through the business community in Fountain Valley. So we feel that the staff oversight would probably be the most beneficial operation, so that A, we're not losing any additional revenue to a third party, and B, we continue to build those relationships with the quality businesses and community partners in our city. So with that, we are available for any questions, and staff seeks direction of the City Council on the creation of an advertisement program for digital messaging at the Fountain Valley Sports Park, and then this would be for the capital project that's been approved to put up a digital messaging board at the Fountain Valley Sports Park.
Thank you, Rob. We'll open up to questions from council. Councilman
So
Grandis.
Would all the funding just go into the general fund, or does it go into the park fund?
So that's the best part. Any revenue that's created at Fountain Valley Sports Park or Miles Square Park per the United States quitclaim deed is required to stay at that facility for public parks and recreation uses.
Okay, good.
Any other comments?
Yes.
Go to Councilwoman Constantine.
So Rob, when we first talked about this a few meetings ago, we were talking about the location. Is there any news on that, or?
When we do our RFP, we'll come back with the
Sure.
presentation of the locations. There's two options for it. We have mapped it out with staff, either on the south side of Brookers as you're entering it to do a double-side billboard. We will need to work with our Public Works Department to make sure, to see if there's a difference in cost related to running the power and electric, the utilities to that location, and make sure it's not any sort of line of sight for vehicular traffic, and or the secondary location of a single-sided sign where we currently have our signs.
Sure. I really like this, and I hope we can do it in-house. Thank you.
Thank you.
Councilman Harper?
Oh, yeah, no, I think it's, I am on board with the idea, so, yeah, I support it, thanks.
And how about our Mayor Bui in the cloud? Any comments, Mayor?
Okay, I was waiting to be unmuted. I think it's a great idea. Would it have any great benefit for businesses that are within Fountain Valley? To be on there, what would be the benefit for them?
If
For
that's
business
council's,
owners.
yes, if that's council's desire, we can create that as part of the advertisement program, whether it's a discount or preferential opportunity. We anticipate there will be a lot of use of it, and so really what I read through before was the structuring criteria for selecting one naming right participant versus another. We can do the same thing with adding in a City of Fountain Valley business, resident, or community group.
If I may, perhaps get some input from the Fountain Valley Chamber of Commerce, from their input as well. They have a lot of business owners in the Chamber of Commerce, so I think it'd be great to have their input. Thank you.
I don't agree with that.
Well, with the feedback I've received, I think probably for seeking direction right now would be bring back the advertisement program with the RFP for the digital messaging board, so we can roll it all out in one spot.
Yeah, it's a great program. I support it, and we look forward to seeing what you have to
And,
move it forward.
I'm sorry, and just to be clear, not third party, we want it employee run.
Yep.
Okay.
In-house.
In-house, thank you.
Correct. Okay, great. Any other comments?
Terrific. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Okay, next we'll have a discussion on charter cities and Senate Bill 9 housing projects, presentation by our city attorney, Colin Burns.
All right, thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. That's great. Okay, I was asked to present on Charter Cities and the Redondo Beach versus Bonta SB9 lawsuit. So as a background, SB9 mandates ministerial approval of lot splits and duplex construction. 5 charter cities challenged SB9, claiming that it conflicted with their charter authority. The trial court ruled in favor of the cities, holding SB9 does not override charter cities' authority. So what is SB9? SB9 was adopted in 2021 by the legislature. It requires ministerial approval of duplexes and urban lot splits. Essentially, if a property owner has a lot that's at least 2,400 square feet, they can request to split the lot into 2 separate lots and then place 2 residential units on each lot. So you can essentially take a residential lot and turn it into a 4-plex. It's ministerial, meaning a city has no opportunity to do discretionary review to look at things like health, safety, and welfare, as long as the lot split complies with objective standards. The statute provided that it applied to all cities, including charter cities, because the legislature said it concerned a matter of statewide concern. The statewide concern was to ensure access to affordable housing. So the legal framework, charter cities manage municipal affairs. State laws can override charter authority to address a matter of statewide concern, and there's a 4-step inquiry that we look into to see whether a matter is a statewide concern or whether it's a municipal affair. That's first, is the activity a municipal affair? Does it concern things that are local? Planning and zoning is local. Is there a conflict between local and state law? Does the state law address a statewide concern? And is the law reasonably related and narrowly tailored to addressing that statewide concern? Looking at that 4-step inquiry and applying it to the matter in the Bonta case, first, land use and zoning are municipal affairs. SB 9 did conflict with local authority because it mandated ministerial approval of urban lot splits and duplexes. It didn't matter whether the city allowed them or not under its zoning code. The state came in and said that if a person has a lot of a certain dimension and applies, a city without discretionary review is required to approve it. And now the SB 9's stated purpose was to address affordable housing, not a shortage of housing in general. So what the court said in that case was there was no evidence that SB 9 actually increases affordable housing. Rather, it just increased the total number of housing, but there was nothing in the law that required the new houses that were built to have an affordability component. So the court said that SB 9 was not reasonably related to addressing its stated statewide concern, and the legislature's justification was insufficient in that case to override charter authority. So the state made a couple of arguments. First, the state argued that SB 9 addresses general housing, the general housing shortage, and the court noted that the statute only cited affordable housing as its purpose. And addressing the shortage of housing is a statewide concern, as is addressing affordable housing. But the court noted that the statute didn't say that it looked to the shortage of housing, only affordable housing, and the court wasn't going to read a new purpose into the statute. The court said that SB 9 wasn't related or tailored to its purpose of affordable housing, so the court decided that SB 9 is invalid as it applies to charter cities. That case is currently on appeal. So looking to the Bonta and the SB 9 case, because the court decided that both the lack of housing and affordable housing are statewide issues, the legislature really could have gotten around that by just putting in the law that they were enacting the law to address the shortage of housing. I'm not sure why the case is being appealed rather than just having the law amended, but it is currently on appeal now. I know that SB 9 is currently being amended to address the exemption for historic districts. The amendments, as they're currently written, make no mention of this case, so it doesn't look like the legislature is trying to amend it in response to the Bonta case yet. Maybe they're waiting for it to go through the Court of Appeal. I'm not sure. But this case is one example where a charter authority recently was used to defend city zoning authority against a state law. But according to the court's analysis of the case, the state could have gotten around the charter city's argument by just drafting some of the enacting clauses differently.
Questions from council?
Yeah, some questions. So getting back to SB 9, itself. So to restate it, so if I have a lot, if I own a single-family house in Fountain Valley, or let's say I buy a lot with a house on it, and all the houses on the street are single-family houses, but I decide, for whatever reason, I want to split that lot into 2 lots, tear down the house that's there, and build 2 houses on each of those lots, or maybe more, maybe up to 4, maybe 1 house and 3 ADUs. SB 9, as it sits now, allows me to do that with no additional parking requirement. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. So I think, yeah, from my perspective, as a resident of Fountain Valley and as a council member, I don't like that. And so if there is a opportunity for the city to push back, I think I would look into that. Also with SB. And I guess my next question is for Omar. Have we? How many SB 9 requests have we received so far? This was, I guess, originally passed in 2021. Is that right?
Yes, we've had multiple inquiries. We haven't had an application yet. We haven't adopted a local ordinance. That will be coming before you shortly in the next few months. It'll be presented to Planning Commission and then City Council. Right now, we just default to state law.
Okay.
We've had a handful of inquiries, but nothing submitted. I think there's one maybe coming in.
Okay. All right. All right. Thank you. Yeah. I think it's important to bring attention to this law that's lurking there. It sounds like we haven't had maybe one application so far, but it's out there. So thank you.
I have a question.
Yes, Councilwoman Constantine.
So what kind of an ordinance could we possibly craft on this?
Well, we already have one. Our permissive zoning code does not allow lot splits or fourplexes, so at this point, it's illegal under our municipal code. State law has overridden it. So
Absolutely.
we could pass a law that specifically bans them. State law has overridden it for general law cities.
Thank you.
Want to make sure that Mayor Bui gets a chance to make any comments? Mary there?
Yeah, I have to wait for our city clerk to unmute myself. As I raised some of the concern that this, SB 9, it would be a concern for a resident. As we know that we are dealing with parking issue. If we don't do anything about it, I think it's going to ruin a lot of the neighborhood if people do lots splitting in the city. And it's something that we should look into it and consider our options, what we have moving forward.
Any other comments from council? Just for clarity, so we talked about SB 1 and kind of it's working its way through the courts. I appreciate the update on that. I think that was illuminating. But this topic also includes charter cities, so are we going to continue a discussion on that, or where are we leaving this?
No, the presentation was just to discuss the Bonte-Cate. For the Charter City Authority, the Charter City did prevail in this case.
Okay.
I think that I don't want to go too much past the gravamen of the discussion, but at a certain point, zoning is a municipal affair. The state has told cities that we're in a housing crisis and each city is responsible for making up some of that crisis, and they dole out housing numbers called the RENA, and each COG receives it, and COG is more of a local agency than the state, and it passes it out to the cities. At that point, a city should be able to zone enough housing into its housing element and show the state that we have zoned as part of our local zoning authority. This is where we want it, and this is how we want it in. And we've got the zoning in for 100% of our RENA number, and then the state certifies your housing element. And once that happens, it's kind of the informal handshake between cities and the state, is you really think the state would allow you to implement your housing element. And what the state does outside of that is it puts in these ministerial approvals, these state overrides. Fountain Valley has a certified housing element. We've accounted for 100% of our affordable housing. Notwithstanding that, the state has said that even though you have at a local level decided how your city will develop with 100% of the housing that the state has said is required, they've still said now you have to also allow fourplexes, you have to allow lot splits, even though that wasn't your local decision. So in that regard, it does get into an area that I think should be reserved to the state to decide at a local level how it implements its state number. And 5 cities were successful in challenging SB 9 on that. We'll see where the challenge goes, but it is one argument that it is one time recently that a charter was able to prevail against a state housing mandate.
Vice Mayor, the broader conversation with Charter City, we are scheduled to bring it back in August on the pros and cons of Charter City.
Okay. But I think kind of in closing this topic, it seems like what the court is saying is, hey, state, if you think you can get this passed on a rational basis or a lower level of approval, they're signaling, no, it needs to be more of an important or even a compelling governmental interest. And so maybe that's going to put either the legislature on notice, or those that want to litigate this further, that these are sort of the expectations if you're going to continue to litigate this. So interesting. Okay. Great.
Vice Mayor Kinney?
Yes.
So, Colin, do we know the timing for the appeal?
I checked, and the briefing is not completed yet. So the briefing will be completed, I believe it said by September. Once briefing is completed, there will be assigned a hearing date and an oral argument date. After that, probably 1 to 2 months after to get a decision. So maybe early 2026.
Oh, okay.
We'll get a decision.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, there's no direction that's needed for City Council today, just information related to SB 9.
Okay, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Well, we have a few minutes before we start at 6, so we'll go ahead and take a recess. Come back at 6. Thank you.